So let's jump into my things I don't want, okay? Halloween don't want, all right? Don't want this at all, okay? I think it was Destiny that pointed it out earlier. Michael versus. I don't want this to be Michael versus Pinhead. I don't ever want Michael versus Jason, you know? That's my personal opinion. I just don't think the two characters belong in the same world. I think they're just too different. And if I'm being honest, as much as I loved Freddy versus Jason, I still prefer both those characters in their own worlds. You know, to me, it's more of a gimmick. Whereas I don't really watch Halloween for a gimmick. I'm really just invested in the story. You know, what makes Michael tick, all that stuff, the psychology of Myers. And if you start putting Myers against other characters, it could be directed really great, and it could be an awesome story. A Japanese director, David Thorson, yes, totally for that. All in all, I think I want Myers to stay in his own world. I don't want Myers jumping in with other iconic killers, right? I think it waters both of them down when they do that. Next item, too many cooks in the kitchen. And I think when you have too many opinions going around, I think when you have a director, it has to be like an umbrella type thing, you know, or a pyramid. The director has to call all the shots, and, you know, he can allocate other departments. You take care of this, you take care of this. But you don't want 5 different people making a decision on one particular topic, like 5 different decisions. You can't do that. The example, Halloween H2O. Halloween H2O, even though a lot of people love that movie, it is a mess in terms of like the mask department. You could tell that this guy just wasn't really that big of a Halloween fan. He didn't really know too much about the mask. And they had 3 different masks that actually were in camera during Steve Miner. Thank you very much, Scott. They had 3 different masks that were in camera. That should never happen. All this shit should be taken care of before principal photography. That's why they have screen tests, all this stuff. I think that was just one of the biggest mistakes. And then also having a director that knows about the franchise and knows what and who Michael Myers is supposed to be as a character. Because, and I'm not just picking on H2O. There's other movies too that I think did not totally nail Myers. I think Halloween Resurrection, even though he was a little bit better, I think the cinematography was better. I still think they didn't really nail Myers in that movie. You know, he felt, I guess, not scary if you get right down to it, right? So more gimmicky, I guess. So I think you just got to have a strong vision of what you want in these movies. And you could also say the Rob Zombie situation with the Weinsteins. That's a great example. You know, when those directors, you know, when they have full creative control right out the gate, hey, okay, I'll do this movie, but I have to have full creative control. You got to leave me the fuck alone. You got to let me make my movie. I'll give it to you at the end. Who does this? Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino, who worked for the Weinsteins. When he started that whole journey of, you know, every movie that he made with the Weinsteins. By the way, I watched Jackie Brown again yesterday. God, I fucking love that movie. Quentin Tarantino, he says, hey, I'm going to do the movie. You leave me the fuck alone. All right. And I'll give you the movie at the end. You can make your suggestions at the final print. And if I like your suggestion, maybe I'll change it. But at the end of the day, it's my decision. Okay. And I think you need that. I think all movies kind of need that. But then on the flip side of that, sometimes you have directors that don't really know what they're doing. You know, they're kind of thrust into something. They're not really, like Steve Miner. He's not really passionate about it, but he ends up getting it. Originally, they wanted John Carpenter to do H2O. He said, thanks, but no thanks. So sometimes that happens too. And sometimes you do need some guidance. So there's just a lot of different moving parts, I guess. What that was is a 7-foot Myers. Okay, I think Myers himself has to be a specific height, you know, as superficial as that sounds, a specific walk, a specific mask. You know, you got to get Myers right, okay? And as much as I love Tyler Mane, he was a little bit too tall. You know, I don't need a 7-foot Myers. You don't have to be 7 foot to be scary, because as scary as Tyler Mane is, he's not the scariest Myers to me. I mean, what got me into the character was just I could see the evil. That's pretty much what it all comes down to. It wasn't that he was tall. I could see the evil. Halloween 6. Oh my God. When I first saw Halloween 6, the expression on Myers' face and with the help of that mask and everything, the way he moved, that is probably the scariest version of Myers I think I've ever seen. Like, he freaked me the hell out. And that scene at the end in the final act of the theatrical cut where Kara is, he slams her on that table and she's like reaching up and she's pulling the mask. And I remember the theater, everybody started getting louder and louder and louder because we thought, oh my God, is the mask going to come off? Holy crap. Because at this time, the mask never came off. And if it did, there was something really evil and creepy about what was under the mask, They never showed his face in full light. Destiny says Tyler Mane's her favorite. For me, it's the walk. And I think Tyler Mane, even though his walk wasn't bad, he didn't have that glide, the glide like James Jude Courtney did, or even Dick Warlock. I'll even say this. I think Nick Castle is definitely one of the greats, but he's not my favorite. But he is great. He's definitely great. He's got the walk down for sure. And funny enough, I know Deborah Hill complained that she said she didn't think that Dick Warlock had the walk down, but I disagree with Deborah Hill, God rest her soul. I think Dick Warlock, he had a really great walk. And I think James Jude Courtney, he took a little bit of that. Next item, risk. I think you don't want to follow the same formula. I do say back to the basics all the time. I think back to the basics is always a good starting place. There are certain things, what I mean by back to the basics is there are certain things in a Halloween movie that you have to have, right? But outside of that, I think you can go wild. You can go crazy. And it's going to alienate half your audience. Okay, so these are my personal wants. Halloween Ends pissed off a lot of people. But the thing I loved about that movie, the risk. Okay? I love when these movies take a risk. Any movie, not just Halloween. I like risk in Halloween movies, Go for the fences. Do something completely out of left field, right? Gives me something to talk about. I don't want the same tired formula, okay? Can the same tired formula work sometimes? Sure it can, it all comes down to the execution. But I like a freaking wrench thrown in the thing, something, what just happened? That's crazy, This really, and sometimes they knock it out of the park, and it moves the franchise or just that trilogy, the story, whatever, in a completely different direction, So I would love a nice surprise in my next Halloween movie. I really would. I liked it what they did with Ends, and I don't think they need to go as far as they did with Ends. I think every Halloween movie needs a little something that the audience isn't expecting. And then the last one, tired characters. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And you could file like Laurie Strode into that. And as cool as it was to see Lindsay Wallace back and Tommy Doyle and all those guys, after it all, I was just like, okay, I'm ready to move on. I don't need to see them again, especially Laurie. Not that I'm against seeing like a Tommy Doyle again or something like that, but not just the names themselves, but also just the performance. I'd like an actor that seems like they're really into the part. Like freaking Donald Pleasance. Oh my God, give me that passion with every character, and I'll just freaking lose it. That'll be insane, right? I love the passion that Donald Pleasance had for Loomis. I was just talking about taking a risk, but also in the characters. Give me a character that we might not have seen before in this franchise, that's a little off kilter, right? That maybe has a little bit of darkness in them. Give me some of that, Don't give me tired characters, okay? Mega Cat, thank you. Don't forget about the score. Huge part of every good Halloween movie. And guys, we're probably not going to get John Carpenter back for the score. I think that those days are over. Man, the work that team put into all three scores is amazing. Amazing. Nobody complains about the scores. Don't give me a tired score. All right. I think I don't like the score for H2O. I know I'm picking on H2O like crazy. I hate the score for H2O. That's not Halloween. The score for Resurrection is okay, but it does feel a little tired. Hell, I'll even say the score for Halloween 5 feels a little lazy. You know, every time I watch it, that's the one thing that does kind of, you know, like I wanted more. Like, man, I wish that score. There's a couple nice moments, like when he's in the ravine at the beginning of the movie, you know, and he does that little spin. I wonder if they had something under him, Don Shanks, when he did that like spin. It was like, you know. Yeah, I want a cool score. I know, like Trent Reznor. Wouldn't it be cool if Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, if they did a score? Because I know they did the Halloween theme a few years ago. I think back in 2018, they did like a theme of their own, and it sounded really cool. What's up, guys? You are at the end of the DDLive clip. What I do is I like to clip these out if I think the topic is important or something that's newsworthy. So thank you for watching, and if you want to watch more, you can go over here, you can go over here, click on one of those, and yeah, hopefully I can do this for 20 seconds, which I think I did. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching, guys.